Hello and welcome to Start Select, the video game show that stalks the rooftops that even Batman is too scared to tread near. We've got an amazing show for you today with an exclusive behind-the-scenes studio tour at Rocksteady, the developer of Batman Arkham Asylum. We've also got a first look at Sony's new open-world action game, inFAMOUS. Plus we'll be announcing the winners of last week's Fallout 3 Broken Steel competition, as well as giving away copies of Battle Stations Pacific. But first, let's go behind the scenes at the London-based Rocksteady Studios.
Batman is now en route to Arkham Island.
Alright guys, we're down here in North London today to meet Rocksteady Studios, the team that's been entrusted with the Batman license to create the new game Arkham Asylum. Now they've got one of the coolest studios we've ever seen before. We're going to get a full-on studio tour today, so let's go and meet Sefton Hill, the game's game director, to find out more.
How's a guy supposed to break out of here?
So Sefton, tell us a little bit about how the studio's laid out here. You've got the different teams segregated here and set out in an open plan office?
Yeah, well, we went for the open plan look because we want everyone sitting together. You know, the communication is so important to us of all of the different groups of people. And then here are the designers working together, so these are the group that are working on the levels. Basically, we work very collaboratively, myself and this group. We sit down and have a lot of discussions about how we're going to get the right messages across in each room and exactly what the gameplay is going to be in the room. So here we have more of the art team here, some of the effects guys as well who sort of take the environments and really bring them to life.
Right.
Also some of our flash artists who are working on the front end and GUI interface. And then some of the props artists as well who work with the level building teams to really kind of bring the environments to life and add those little details and make sure that every environment has that kind of Batman DNA flowing right through it.
Now let's get this party started!
So you guys have been working with Unreal Engine, but you've actually managed to, from what I've seen so far, create a very unique look and actually, you know, live up to the Batman kind of thing that we know. How have you managed to do that? Has that been quite a difficult process?
I think one of the things Dave really wanted to achieve with the art was to really have this unique feel of kind of looking realistic but still having the kind of comic book sensibility sitting behind it. And we also wanted to kind of have quite a colourful game as well, you know, that we didn't want it to feel like it was all kind of these browns that you see a lot in games now, to really bring the environments to life. So yeah, so it is something that our art director spent a lot of time on, is to kind of make them feel vibrant and true to the kind of comic book roots, but also feel like they could be a real place. You know, that's something that's really been a big focus of the art team. Before they even really started to build assets, lots of concept work on that, and just really trying to get that feel. And also the history, like there's lots of things in the environment. Each building has its own history, and then it's been repurposed and retrofitted as the island's expanded, and it's changed from being this kind of residential mansion to being this kind of insane asylum that it is. And how it's changed is fascinating. So although that's not necessarily something that you need to explicitly understand when you play the game, you can kind of feel that this history is there, and these guys have spent months of their life making sure you can feel that history as you play the game.
And so Arkham is as much of a character as anyone else in the game?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, it's a massive character, and also the island itself goes on a journey and changes.
Tell us about your character design team.
Yeah, the character team worked a lot to try and get this unique look and feel for Batman. We wanted to really get across the kind of comic book Batman, so he's a bit kind of bigger, beefier than maybe what you've seen in the films, you know.
You can see his muscles.
I mean, he's a ripped guy, you know, he's trained his whole life to reach physical perfection, so that's something
just like you and I.
Obviously, just like you and I, yeah.
And one of the best stories that I heard when I was back here last seeing the game was that you have just one person dedicated to the cape physics, because he fills quite a lot of the screen during the game.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we kind of realised early on, you know, it's third-person game, so obviously Batman's going to be there. Most of the time, you're going to be looking at his cape. So on the code team, we've got a guy who's pretty much 100% dedicated to the cape physics, and we really knew that was going to be a big thing for Batman, and obviously it's the thing that kind of also has this lovely secondary motion on all of his movements, so it can really make his combat and predator moves really flow and really give them that sort of physicality and realism that we wanted. So yeah, we knew very early on, you know, it's Batman, we need a great looking cape. any tools and technology that we develop, that's going to be to make the game better. So we're going to work on AI tools and technology. Yeah, we spent a lot of effort on that, and you'll really see that when you play the game about how the characters react to what Batman's doing. You know, that's a really big element of what Batman does, is every action you do, that affects them and changes their behaviour. So there's a lot of, you know, custom AI work that we've done. In this area here, we have the gameplay team, and these guys sit next to the animators, because obviously there's a massive crossover there between those groups, between everything that they're bringing to life in the game. They need to work with the animators to really bring those characters to life as they do those actions. Right. So these guys are responsible for all of the AI, the bosses in the game, for the way Batman moves, looks and feels. That's all done here with the animators here, and obviously the animators working on with our motion capture studio through there. So really just a combination of those groups working together.
Die, you big ugly bat!
Right, so Sefton, we're in your custom motion capture studio. So this looks pretty fancy. Just tell us a little bit about how it works.
Well, we have 28 cameras set up here, 28 Vicon cameras, the newest camera technology here, and it's off the main studio, as you've seen, which is great because it means we can just come in here and grab any motion capture whenever we want. So one of the cool things is that really allows us to bring all the characters to life in the game, and we can grab motion capture even for the smallest detail, so everything you see feels very realistic in the movement. So that's kind of something that's kind of come across the whole game. Every character in the game we've motion captured to get that really kind of realistic feeling.
And so your actual animators come in here and kind of, you know, get themselves suited up, and you can see on this video here that you can see him hanging up for. Is it for Bane?
Yeah, this is for Bane, the scene that we did where Joker actually injects Bane with the venom. So we have a pulley system here we can use. So we have the actor here. Basically everything you see in the game that's motion captured has been done in our own studio here. And like I said, I think the main thing that allows us to do is capture even little things that normally you wouldn't want to get up and sort out a whole new motion capture shoot to go and get like one person doing one thing, like speaking on the radio, a guard speaking on the radio, but for us, jump in a suit, go capture that, and it really brings everything to life, gives you that kind of realistic look and feel that, you know, your brain can easily detect when something is motion captured and when it looks and feels right.
I will break you, Batman! No, Bane. This time I break you!
Hi, I'm Nick Arundel. I'm the audio director at Rocksteady. Well, what goes on in this room at the moment is mixing of the game. In here, it's good for monitoring. So obviously we can see that's the 360 on there, that's the PC build. Like if you're mixing a cutscene, you're really used to kind of this environment where you've got like faders talking to Pro Tools, and you're consistently monitoring like levels of, is that thunder louder than the train? So you need it all there at once. Now with a cutscene, that's quite easy to do because obviously it just starts there and off it goes. You know, with games, mixing is the next sort of big step really. You need to be able to mix the game as it's happening. So what we do is we get someone to play through, and as the game's playing through, like any new sound, so say you come across like some chattering teeth, that'll appear as like a fader in the game. And now we're at the stage where we're just sort of balancing each level, each room, and making sure that you can hear the important stuff. All of Batman's movement stuff was done externally, mainly because you need a big stage, so you need, like if you're going to flap a cape, you know we've got that vocal booth in there, you couldn't flap a cape in there. You need to be able to run around and record like lots of the movement sounds, so you need a relatively big stage.
Don't be a stranger.
He surrendered almost without a fight. I don't like it.
Just after we recorded our studio tour at Rocksteady, Eidos sadly announced that the release of the game had been delayed till the end of summer. However, we'll have more on the game very shortly, so stay tuned to GameSpot for updated impressions very soon.
It's over, Joker.
Over? Why, my dear delusional Dark Knight, it hasn't even begun.
Time to give away some prizes now on Start Select. On the last show, we gave you the chance to win one of 5 codes to download the new Fallout 3 DLC, Broken Steel. All you had to do was answer this question. In which US town and state is developer Bethesda based? The answer we were looking for is Rockville, Maryland, and our 5 clever plugs who got that right are Jonathan Lim from Norfolk, Chris Ford from Cardiff, Jonathan McDowell from Belfast, Jason Noonan from Glasgow, and Daniel Wright from Liverpool. Congratulations to all you guys. We'll email you your download codes today. This week, to tie into our tour of Rocksteady Studios, Eidos has kindly offered us 3 copies of Battle Stations Pacific to give away on the platform of your choice. The game is released today on the PC and Xbox 360, and it's the follow-up to the massive 2007 hit Battle Stations Midway. All you have to do to win a copy is tell us this: which internal development studio is responsible for developing the game over at Eidos? Get your answer with your name and address to competitions@gamespot.co.uk before the 19th of May and watch next week's edition of Start Select to find out if you've won. Now though, let's go and check out a sneak preview of inFAMOUS on the PlayStation 3. This week, a demo version of Sony's inFAMOUS landed on our desk, and we wasted no time whacking it in our PlayStation 3 and giving it a good going over. Is it going to be worth checking out once it launches at the end of May? Let's dip in and find out more. inFAMOUS is set in a post-apocalyptic city, devastated from a weapon that you, a bite messenger called Cole, delivered. The city is now quarantined, filled with survivors who have either formed gangs to scavenge what little resources remain, or civilians starving on the streets. Thankfully, the explosion also endowed you with electricity-based superpowers, allowing you to electrocute people, send out shockwaves, and survive giant falls. The first thing you'll notice about Cole is how well he moves through the world. The game boasts what could be described as an adaptive animation system, meaning that wherever you jump and move, the game will automatically manipulate Cole accordingly. It's quite brilliant to see in motion. You just push the direction you want to go, press jump, and the game does the rest. That said, there is a possibility that some gamers may find it all just a little bit too easy. Our demo included 4 levels of the game, and the first, named Food Drop, introduces you to Cole's basic powers. You can electrocute enemies and objects using L1 to target and R1 to fire, and you can also send out shockwaves by holding L1 and pressing X. Also, if you fall from a great height, hold square to land with an electric shock attack. Using electricity-based powers quickly drains you though, so you have to find recharge points and hold L2 to drain them of their juice. There'll also be boss encounters in inFAMOUS, as was demonstrated by the second mission that we played. Some deranged woman wants to take Cole out on a date, but instead of a candle-lit dinner at a fancy restaurant, her idea of romance is violence in a dingy, flooded dungeon. inFAMOUS incorporates God of War style QuickTime events during the fight, where you have to pull off parts of her suit by tapping the X button and moving the joystick in the direction indicated on screen. This third mission is some way into the game, where Cole has turned to the dark side with many abilities to fit. He can now do evil finishing moves on downed enemies, sucking the life out of them in exchange for a boost of electricity. And he can now throw huge bolts and even grenades made out of energy. He can also slide along electricity cables to move quickly from building to building, all while replenishing his energy supply along the way. The final mission in our demo was a prison break, where you had to free your friend Zeke out of the dock. By this point in the game, the onslaught of huge enemies was becoming so great that you needed to stand on huge electric plates just to recharge and stay alive. You also have to scale the huge prison itself, and facing off against the monumental enemies did become increasingly difficult.
The Reapers. Before the blast, they were just a bunch of junkies dealing drugs. Now, they own the Neon District.
The final point to note about inFAMOUS is how well it's presented, with some beautifully realised animation telling the story along the way. The game is coming together really well for its late May release, so if you want to find out more, check out GameSpot's in-depth preview coverage and come back in a couple of weeks' time for our full verdict.
There's more on the way!
That's all for this week's show. If you're a fan of Start Select, why not check out myself and the rest of the GameSpot UK crew on the GameSpot UK podcast, which you can find on iTunes. You can also subscribe to the GameSpot UK Twitter feed ahead of E3 for all the latest news out of Los Angeles as it happens. So check us out at twitter.com/GameSpotUK. We'll be back again next Friday with another edition of Start Select, so we'll see you then.